I'm requesting all the participants, please switch off the video as well as mute the audio, please. Okay. Today objectives is yesterday we done some of the mathematical expressions realization. We'll go with other methods how to realize some of the expression with some of the functions. And second, we go with the creation of the global variable, how to create the global variable, and what is the utilization of the global variable. And next we'll go with the sub VI, what yesterday we talked about some of the functions. So same way we can create here the sub VI and what is the utilization of that and how we are going to create the sub VI. And the next we'll go with the structures. In structures mainly we can go with for loop, while loop or case structures. Till time permits, we'll complete all the things. Okay. So I'm clarifying that yesterday problem I apologize for that because overloading that members as we got the errors, we came to know that. So today it not be problem in that case. We brought the new login ID with our HOD. So, and then regarding about installation of the software, please communicate me directly. I can help you out to install the software, how to do all the things, what may be the problem with your system or anything else. And other things. Okay, only thing is installation problem. Some guys has telling me that please communicate me. We'll discuss directly what may be the problem while installing that. Okay. After the session, you can communicate me. I can help you out that. So this is the one the you people are charted. I can guide you with respect to that. So let me start with the new sessions. Okay, we'll open the new VI. Dear participants, please mute your video. Okay. Let me take some expression. Let's say V is equal to mx plus c. I want to be deriving this. This is the formula. Please mute. How do you eliminate thing? Eliminate ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? Please mute, but your side is not possible. ಗೌತಮ್ ವಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲ್ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನು ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ
ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Okay. Let's start the session. Sorry for the interruption. Yes. Today objective, I need to complete some of the mathematical equation with some of the functions and how to create the global variable and how to create the sub-VI and some of the structures. Let's start immediately with the, I'm written the y is equal to mx plus c. This is the formula I need to be realized. So here I have the three variable mx and the c. I need to take as a numerical values. Let me take the numerical values. This is as m, and similarly I take the another value as an x, and one more it as c. So three variable I'm taken, and one is indicator because that is your y. So these three variable are there. So I know how to be, yesterday we are done with multiplication and addition, whatever the variable, with derived form. So we have the other methods to implement your mathematical expressions. Let me see that how we supposed to be implement that. So first we'll go with the mathematics. There is a script and formula is there. So here we can realize your mathematical expression by using formula, formula node or script node. Okay, we'll see that one by one how we can implement. Let me come with the some first one as a formula. Place it here. See, once you place the formula, the dialog box will be open. So in this we can see that these are the inputs. We can give the name for the input. Let me give the input here as an m. And we can give the input as x, and we can give the input as c. Three variable I'm taken. Okay, so make it as first. What I supposed to do with this? So my expression is mx plus c. So let's start with the variable as first M, type this into, whereas something like your calculator, how you are doing the typing the variables. So mx plus and c. So if your equation is in correct format, you will get the green. It means that your equation in correct format. Okay, once it is typed, make it is okay. So you can see that we have the three input M, X and C. One is an output here. Okay. Connected to particular M and the variable as X and variable as C. And connected to your output to the Y. Right. So this is the one. So if you want to change any formula, you double click on this, you'll get this formula. I'm taking a simple example. Better you can go with any difficult example that will support only whichever the functions are available in this pad. Okay. So let me run this program continuously. I'm going to run this. It's the change the values. So automatically the value will be giving your output with respect to your input. Okay. So this is one way of doing realizing your mathematical expression. Let me go with another method. Okay. Same way, come to the mathematics, script and formula, right? I'll go with next, we have the formula node. How we supposed to use this formula node? Let me take this, drag and drop down here. Remember, this formula node, it supports C programming. You can write the C code in this. See, simple like if you want to do if else statement or anything you want to do it under this, you can use this formula node. And remember, this formula node will support all trigonometric functions like your cosine form, all the one you can realize with this on logarithmic expressions and some of your modulus operation, power, random, all the second formulas it will supports. Okay. So with this, how we going to be realize this my formula y is equal to mx plus c. So once you draw this formula node, see always we came to know this side, that is the left side, or comes to the input, and this side it comes to the output. So click on that, that is highlight that formula node, right click on this. So here it is given add input. So add input is there. So the what is the variable name you want to type inside this, give that variable name only. But this variable name and in your block diagram, what is the name you given? It is not, it should not be match. It can be anything or it may be same variable name. Let me take the name variable name as M. I'm taken as M. Okay. So same way I need one more other variable, that is X. And similarly, one more variable, add input, that is C. So three variable I'm taken. In this side, take the output, add output, that is variable is Y. So in the formula node, I can add the input, which are the variable you want to give the input, and the output where you taken the outputs. Okay. So inside you can write a C code also. So let me take the same variable M, X and C. So here I just creating the local variable for this. Change to read mode. So this is your M. Same way I'm taken one more. Here is X. Change to give it to the X variable. And copy down this and value I'm changing to C. Means that whatever you given the input here, you will get the same input in the local variable. Now here you type the equation, that is the equation is y is equal to mx plus c. We should know that in C programming all the syntax should be ended with the semicolon. So here also your whatever you written the code or the expression, it should be ended with your semicolon. So I just end with the semicolon. Okay. Here you have the output y. So I can't take the same output to connect it to this. So I'm going to take the different output line. So this is your y1. Let's say I'm taken as y1. So I just connect it to the output of this. Okay. So this is the formula node. In this formula node, here inside you can write the C coding, and in the left side, whichever the variable you want, you can add the variable and you can give the input to your front panel. And right side, you can add n number of outputs so that you can connect it to your output variable as an indicator. So now let me run this. So undefined, sorry, m into x. So I written as mx, so it may be m into x plus c. Okay. So let me run the same thing. So you will get the same answer. So because of all the variable, I'm taken as the same variable. So mathematical expression, I can derive directly, or I can use the formula, or I can use the formula node. Okay. So one more we have that in that same way, that is a expression node. So here also we can do the same manner. Okay. So one more is I want to run some MATLAB code in this. So I have the math script node, right? So how do MATLAB code in LabVIEW? So I call the math script, right? So then whatever the MATLAB code, I can type it inside, I can run the program. I'll have the simple example. I can show you that. Just I already did this. So here what I done is, right, I taken the variable x, right? So in line space, it is a drawing a line which started from the 0 and it will be pi into 2. The variable as multiples of n times. Okay. So that x, I give it to the cos x as well as sin x. So this is the one I going to be plot with the function as plot. So let me run this program, how it's supposed to be looks, right? So as we know that whatever the variable it is multiplied by pi into 2, that gives your with the n values, variation of n values, it gives your straight line to circle. How it will be generated, we can observe by varying of n variable. So let me run this continuously. You can see that I just varying the n value. So it is a straight line with the value of n is equal to 2 with what you are getting as sine, whatever cos by sine you are getting as 1. That is, you can increase the n value. You can observe that how we can see the value or plot the value by using the math script. So this is the math code, that is MATLAB code I can run in my LabVIEW. So I can vary this. You can observe that how it will be very reliable compared to your MATLAB, right? So this is the one good example I can give you to implement your MATLAB in LabVIEW, right? So same way we can draw the MATLAB, we can add whatever the variable in and whatever the variable output variable, you can add it here and write the code inside the MATLAB code and run this program, right? So this is how we can do by using your math script. Fine. So next we have the formula node view over, and math script is over, and formula is also over, and one more we have that mathematics script node. We have the expression node. We'll see how we can do with the expression node. See, in this expression node, we should give only the one kind of input. We'll get only the one kind of output. Okay, let me give it as first as an m. Okay, and what you're supposed to do inside this, right? So let me give the m variable here. So m star, let me take the constant value as 5 here. So I can get the output as some other outputs. Let's say take some other indicator, something. So this is a simple one, but any single variable to do with any operation, then only we can use this expression node. Okay. So here just whatever the input I given, I multiplied by 5 or something logarithm operations or any operation with only a single variable, then I can use this expression node. If you want more variable, then you need to use for different expression node for this. So these are the 1-2 evaluation of mathematical expressions in LabVIEW. So next we'll come to the interesting part. Is yesterday we learned about how to create the local variable. Now we'll come to how to create the global variable. Right? What is the use of global variable and how we can utilize for a global variable, and what is the difference in global and local variable? We can see that. So in LabVIEW, want to create a global variable, right click on this. In the structure, we have a global variable. Click on this, right? So double click on this. It create a new VI, that is a global. It doesn't have any block diagram. Here you want to create any number of global variable. Let me create it here, one variable as X. I'm created as one variable X as a global variable, and I'm taken one more indicator here, Gauss something like taken as indicator. Okay, let me change the values for this. So here one control, one indicator I created as a global variable. How do you utilize these two variables in my file? Let me check with this. So after creation that, we just minimize this. So now I have the global variable in my working page. Okay, I have some other expression. Let me take some any expression like multiply. Okay, I'll take another variable as n, another variable as some m. So any one expression, let me take it as m into n. I'll type it here. Let's say y is equal to some m plus x. So x is your global variable. Okay. Then minus 2n. First time I taken as any one example, and same way I have the one more global variable output is there. Global output I just taken as that global output. Okay, I given as m plus n. See, in this two expression, y is and m and n are the local variable where I'm created in the statically. Okay, the x is my global variable where I created. Similarly, here one output I created as a global variable, and m and n are the static variables. Let me realize with this. So m plus x minus 2n, then m plus n. Let me realize this. So now, first one we have the m, n, and have the global variable. So what is the global variable? I want to utilize it here. So first I have the variable as x. So you click on this form. So what are the variable you created as a globally? It is indicating that. One, I have the indicator. I'm not using indicator here. I'm using only the variable as x here. Okay. So that x I need to change to read because I need the input from that global. So what I going to do? M plus x. I'll add this first.
పైన మంటలు తెలిస్తే 106
So this is the one m plus x and minus 2 into n. Multiply this. Take the constant. This is 2. So 2 into n, that will be subtracted from m plus x. So take the subtraction. Take one output here. I'm taken the one indicator. Change to indicator. I connected to this. So this is what I realize the expression, that is y is equal to m plus x minus 2n. So x is my, I use the global variable here. Okay. So let me run this program continuously. So I'll just changing that n value. Okay. So with this expression, if you are changing that n value, what is y is equal to minus 2n you are getting as a negative number, right? So let me change that m value. So along with my global variable. So you have created one global variable. So this is your global variable. You change this global variable. You can see that m into m plus x okay, m plus x, then 2n, that is the minus. So m should be more than. So now we can see that you can vary the variables. So with respect to that, the output is also varying. So I kept the global variable as x as 10. So with this variable, how we know that how this global variable I can utilize in this file, right? Same way, I'm creating one more file. See, this is one more file I'm created here. Okay. In this file also, I can use the same global variable. See, local variable, whatever I created, it is specifically only that file. But if you created the global variable, I can reuse those variable in many files. I can take the value into some n number of files. Let's say this is the one I created one global variable. I take this global variable. Say I'm taken the global variable here. So here I'm taken as one indicator. So change to write operation. So here I taken one input. This is a separate file I'm taken here. Let's say this is A, this is your B. So here I'm just multiplying those two. I connected to your global variable. Okay. So now we can observe this. Whatever the global variable I created, I can use in different files. So in one file, I use here as an input what I created as an X. And in one another file, I can use that same global variable as an indicator. Okay. Let me run any one of this program. So here first program I run. Automatically you can observe that what is the changes is happening here. Okay, and now I'm running the same program here. I'm changing the input here. So now I want to see my global variable, what is, because I connected the global variable here. So I want to see that global variable. You can see here, if I'm changing the value, global variable also it is changing. My point is clear. So how do you create the global variable and how to utilize this global variable in different files as input or output? This is the concept I want to be share to you people. Any doubt with respect to global variables?
So where you take in the global variable, sir?
Sir, once you create it, for example, this is my file. So here I am creating a global variable here. So once you double click on this, it is new page, it is created, new file. This is here I am created the global variable. You can say where you want it. I can see, for example, here I created some global variable. Let's say this is 1W, and let's say one more variable, something T. I done. So you want to save it, you say where you want it in your file. Clear? So whenever you want it, you access from this file with these variables. You just copy and paste where, in which file you want the global variable. But normally global variable we keeping constant for all the program or all the applications. So in such a way that we are maintaining or those variable as a global, okay, compared to the local variable. So now we completed that how to create the global variable and realization of the formula nodes, realization of your bool, whatever mathematical expressions. Now we'll come to reusing of code, that how do you create a functions in LabVIEW. Okay, this is the main important one. Okay, before that, I'm creating a new VI here. So for explaining that sub VI, what I supposed to do is I realizing that half adder. Okay, you know that half adder equation. What about your sum and the carry? Sum is equal to A XOR B, and your carry is equal to A into B. This is what we have the half adder equation. So I want to realizing this first, then I need to reuse this half adder to implement a full adder. So that half adder file I created as a sub VI. That sub VI, how I'm going to reusing as your function. How that parameter, let's say these two parameters A and B, how I pass to the other function to do your or implementing your full adder. This is how I need to be explained now. So same way here we have the two variable, because I'm doing as a boolean here, and two outputs, sum and the carry. Let me do this. So I'll take the boolean inputs. This is your A, and boolean one more inputs I'm taken. This is your B, and two outputs are there. So I'm taken the outputs. This is your sum, and one more I'm taken as, this is your carry. Okay, now I'll need to realize it here, your half adder function. So sum is equal to what? Your A XOR B. I connecting your A XOR B, and carry is equal to A into B. I am taken a AND gate to be doing this operation. Just take the input from A and connect it to B. This is your carry. Okay. So just let me run this. We'll see that how it works. That whenever it is both a 0, 0, I'm getting a 0. And this is 0, 1. Sum I'm getting as 1. Carry is 0. And both are 1, 1. Sum is 0. Carry is 1. As we know that in half adder. Now, this is my VI. Half adder VI. Okay, let me save this file first. I'll save wherever you want it. So this is your half adder.vi. I saved it. Now what I'm going to do is, see, as we know that a sub VI is a part of a program. This is my program. Sub VI means that it is a part of a program. Select the part of a program as a sub VI. So here this code, whatever your XOR and AND gate, that is A XOR B and A and B, this is the code I'm selecting, excluding of your input and output. Okay, and then go to edit. There is a create sub VI is there. I'm repeating once again. See, once you done the program, which is the part of that program you want to reuse it, choose that part. This is the part I want to reuse it. Okay. So I selected that, go to that edit button, and there is a create sub VI. I'm creating the sub VI. So once it is created, then you can see that it is an untitled sub VI. It is there. You double click on this, then new whatever the code you saved as a sub file, it has opened here. This is your sub file VI. Okay. So you can see that sub VI, whatever it is automatically generated. You can see that what the code you saved it is automatically generated. Okay. So now I want to renaming this, like this is your sum and this is your carry. I'm just saving this as a sub VI. Before I was the file that is a half adder, but what I created a code, it is a sub VI code. Okay, save this. Then you close this, whatever your sub VI. Here, now this is my sub VI. So you want to see that what are the variables are there. Then you unclick that view as an icon. So now you can drag down this. So you can see that we have the A and B variable and carry and sum. You want to change the variable in orders, you can change that variables. So this is my sub VI. Okay. Now I want to reuse this sub VI to implement your full adder. So let me write the circuit of this. See, just I'm writing that block diagram. This is your half adder. One more we have the half adder, because same I'm using that reusing that code. Okay, I'll have the two input here, A and B, and whatever the sum I connected to the another of A, and we have the C input. We have this. This is A and B and C. And the C I given to the A of this input, and this is your sum of full adder, and this is the carry of this carry connected to one OR gate. I give it to this carry. So normally we know in our theoretically, so we cascading to half adder to implement my full adder. So here the concept is, I want to explain, like this is a sub VI. I'm reusing again this. Need not to draw the half adder once again. Right? So how I supposed to do this? So let me run this. See, this is your half adder function. You want to create a new VI, you can call this half adder, or you can just copy and paste this n number of times. So then you can see that n number of times I can reuse this code as an half adder. So once you pass the value here, same value it is retaining in your sub VI. Same VI, same variable, it is passing to that VI. For example, see, I open here, double click on this. So whatever the variable you are passing A and B variable, the same variable here also it is taken. That's how the value it is passed through your sub function. Clear? So now the same way I'll going to do with whatever your A and B. One more input I supposed to take it for full adder. This is your C. Sum of this for next input, and C is of your next more input. Okay. Take one OR gate. Cascade by the carries. Now we need to connect the outputs to here. This is full adder sum and one more full adder carry. See, sum I'm connected to your full adder, and carry I connected output of your OR gate. See, as the same circuit I drawn it here. I'm taken the two half adder circuited. I cascaded with according to my input. Let me run this program. Okay, all are 0, 0. Your full adder output and the half adder output will be the same. Let me make it as 1, 0, 0, 0. Now you can see in half adder is also 1, full adder is also 1. You can observe that how the value it is passed through your sub VI or function. Okay, let me make it as 1, 1, 0. So now 1, 1, 0, sum is 0. Here the carry is 1. The carry it is forwarded to the next sub VI here. Okay, so then again that what is that full adder carry is also 1. So now you can make it as all are 1, 1. You can observe that it is 1, 1 in your full adder, and in half adder it is 0, 1. Okay, so this is how we can reuse your sub VI for implementing the other applications. So this is the concept. What I want to be explain is creating a sub VI. This is only simple example I'm taken in your application. If you want to do any big applications, you want to reuse the same code in a number of times. So you can create as a sub VI and you can reuse it. Okay. So this is the one concept. So the next concept, what I want to be explain is, so any doubt with respect to sub VI?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, can't we use the first sub VI output as the input for second one? There you have used 3 sub VIs, no, sir?
For implementing?
Full adder, sir.
Yes. See, for implementing the full adder, I just cascading the 2 half adder.
Yes.
Okay. So I realizing that full adder. Same way I did it here. See this, I use the 2 full adder here. Okay, this is my half adder, what I created. From this half adder, I created a sub VI. I reuse it. I just copy and paste it. That's all here. So I taken the 3 variable, A, B, and the C. A, B, whichever the common variable I'm taken, or you can take the different variable also. Okay.
Sir,
so I given a copy.
So what my doubt is, on the top there is a sub VI, no, sir?
Yes.
We have sum and carry of that sub VI. Can't we use that sum and carry to the second half adder?
we can use it. But I want to differentiate that half adder as well as your full adder. No, that's what I taken separately.
Okay.
If you want to use the same one, you can use it
Oh.
because already sub VI it is separately we saved it.
Oh.
Okay, we can reuse that when n number of times wherever you want it.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Let me
run
go
as
with
a-
the yes, sir.
runs section wise, only half adder and full adder to run separately.
Fine. So let me.
Sir, not I'm not the same
What is
circuit
it?
you can run the sub circuit, sir. Only
Yes.
sub part because you have the two indicators, separate indicators.
Yes.
Can you run separately without disturbing the other circuit?
You want to say that I can use a separate inputs for these half adder, full adder. I'll explain you, sir. I came to know that what is your doubts. See, I'm taken. Let me take it as. This is your full adder. This is your half adder. Okay. So now I connecting separately this. I have the separate variable for full adder and separate variable for half adder. Let me run this. Here, in this case, it is 0, 0, both are 0, 0. Now I'll made it as 1, 0. It is half adder, it works independently. It will not be passing any argument, whatever. Here I given the input. Okay. So here I'm given separate input for this. So now it is 1, 0, 0. It is full adder, it is in 1. So 1, 1, 0, 0. It is 0, 1. Both are 1, 1, 1. It is 0, 1. So independently it is works. Any doubts, sir?
Confirmed.
Okay. Fine. Now, what I want is, as we know that we have some of functions. Let's say this is an add function. This is actually one VI as created as a function. Okay. Now, I want to create a VI. I want to create that VI. Whenever I want to call that VI, I can call and use that VI. This is very important one because you have a so many functions. Let's say in your application, I have one like graphical programming, one graphical generation, one program is there, .c program. Similarly, one more interacting the variable manipulation, one file is there, let's say m1.c. So all these files attached together, I want to create one exe file. Likewise, here also in LabVIEW, I want to create a number of VI and add together to create one application in such a way that how I want to create my own VI and how I'll call that VI for reuse it. So this is the one concept I want to be explained. Okay. So let me take the same, what is that half adder? We'll take the same half adder one only for understanding purpose. This is your A, your B. We take it as this is your sum. This is your carry. So same thing, I'm drawing that sum is equal to A XOR B and carry is equal to A. Right now, I want to create my VI, that is half adder VI I want to create. So I call that VI. So how do you create as a VI? See, in front panel, I'll have the variable A and B, and these are the inputs, and S and C are the outputs. So in the right corner, we have the panel. Right click on this. In this, we can see that always all the VI shows left side are the inputs, and right side are the output terminals. So likewise, you can choose that terminals, or let me have the patterns. So I have the 2 input pattern as well as 2 input output patterns. So in such a way that I'm going to choose, okay, fine. I'll choosing this pattern in my VI panel. So what is the input? A and B are the inputs and S and C are the outputs. Such a way that I need to connect it to this terminals. So let me first connect it to, go to this terminal, click on this and place it to on A. Now I can understand that this VI panel, VI, it is interlinked with your variable as A. Similarly, I am taken one more B. This is I connected to this B. Clear? So this is my VI. In this VI, I need to add my terminal inputs. So A is connected and similarly B is connected. So connected to the output side, this is S and similarly C. So muted. Okay, sorry for the interruptions. Fine. Now I'm repeating once again. How do you creating your VI? So select the layout, that is a terminal pattern. So how many inputs are there? How many outputs are there? In such a way that you select the terminal panel. So I'm choosing 2 inputs and 2 outputs are there. So I'm choosing that. Or you want to blank and you want to add terminals, you can do that is also fine. So with respect to my input and output, I'm choosing this. So then I want to be add the terminals. So click on this, whichever the terminal you want to take as to your VI. So I connected as a to this terminal, and this has to be B, I connected. And similarly, this is S and C, I connected internally. So once it is connected, save this file. You should know the path where you have saved the file. Just I given as H. Okay, I saved this file. So now I open the new VI. So here I want to call that VI. What I created this way. I created this VI. Now I want to call this VI here. How I'm going to call this VI? So in the block diagram, right click on this. We have the select VI. Okay. Select on this. So where you saved your VI. So here I saved that VI HH. Click on this. Make it okay. Now you can see that what you saved that VI HH, I reuse it as a VI, not a sub VI. Remember, sub VI is different. Here I'm using as a VI. Okay. So here also I can see that what may be the inputs and outputs are there here. So A and B are the inputs, and whatever I created is internally connected. Let me check once again. So I removing this terminal. Okay, I removed the terminal here. So whatever I connected, the terminal is not internally connected. Again, I am calling that VI. HH I am calling here. So you can observe that only B is there, but A is not connected here. Okay. So once I connected A, then automatically once I go to use that VI, we can get that terminal. Fine. So connected to your terminal directly. It is connected internally. Then you call this VI here. So go to the select VI. So what is that VI? You choose this, select this. You can see that it is in HH.VI, not it is a sub VI. Okay. So you can elaborate that. Now you can see that you have the half adder VI. Same way, here also you can create n number of VI times, you can reuse it. But here, the value it is not passing. Whatever the value you are given to this half adder, it has taken as a new values. But in sub VI, whatever the value you given to the half adder, it holds in your sub VI. Then it is passed to next sub VI. Okay, but here all the VI taken as a new values. Okay, this is only the difference. So this I can explain you. I want to just give the brief. What are the concepts we are explained here? So formula node and math script and some of the expressions node we are explained. Explained about global variable, how to create the global variable, what is the difference in global variable and local variable. And here I explained about sub VI and how to create the VI. What is the difference in? Is it clear now? Voice is clear now? Okay. So I just explained about your global variable, how to create a global variable. And here also I explained about creating the sub VI. Now, this is the main important concept, structure. So, how do you create? How do you use the structures, variables? Let me go one by one. Okay. So, this is very important one. The structures normally we are using in so many programs. So we should know how for loop will works, how while loop will works, how case structures, event structures. Okay. All the one we should know while doing the programs. We'll go one by one. So first will comes to the for loop. So this is the for loop. Just take it, drag this. Okay. We know that in C programming for loop is the syntax is for whatever the initialization and condition and increment or decrement. This is the what we have the uh, syntax in C programming, the follow. Similarly, here also, this is what we called as an index, okay, or the iteration. So normally here we called as in the loops the number of iteration. Always it starts from the zero. The iteration it is start from the zero. In this case, it will be end with n minus one. This is what we call as the loop condition. Okay, let me check how it will be displaying. Let me take the input of n variable. This is n I'm taken. I'm given as a 10. Okay, so I connect it to this n. So how many iteration it is going to taken from 0 to n minus 1. I want to see this. So take the one indicator connected inside to this. See whatever, remember, whatever inside you written the code, it should be under the loop. Once the loop has terminated, then only it is your whatever the data flow it is come out of the loop. So here I want to see the data I how it is iterating from 0 to minus 1. Okay, let me run this. Because it's a loop, you go with the single shot run, right? You need not to go with the continuous run. You can observe that I variable as 9. That means it is iterated from 0 to n minus 1. I want to with some amount of delay. I want to create a delay. Yeah, it's a lot of disturbance, madam. Okay, I'm repeating once again. Once again, please hold a minute. Please switch off the video and mute your audio. Please mute your audio. Please mute your audio.
Video.
Please mute your audio. Please mute your audio. I kept all the one as in mute mode, but the people are, I don't know how they're unlocked it. I kept everyone as in unmute mode only. Ma'am Sushmita, please mute yourself. Fine. Ma'am Sushmita, please mute yourself. Fine, I'm repeating once again. Go to the for loop. Take this for loop. See, as we know that for loop, it is start from the initialization, condition, and increment or decrement. So here, I is your iteration until what? Your n minus 1. So I want to see that iteration, how it is happening here. So let me take that n variable because this is the condition I want to suppose to give to that n. I given the condition n here. Okay. As we know in for loop, the iteration takes from I is equal to 0 to n minus 1. Remember, in for loop, the iterations takes from I is equal to 0 to n minus 1. So same way, I want to see that iteration, how it is happening here. Okay, this is your, let's say, I connected to your I. And one more concept here is, within the iteration, whatever you return the code, that will be in the loop. If you return outside the loop, so that will not be entering into your loop. So for example, I'm written the for in the within the floor bracket, that has to be run within the loop. So same way, here also, whatever I return the block, inside if you return the code, that is under the for loop. Okay. Similarly, see for example, in this loop, iteration start from I is equal to 0 to n minus 1. I want to see how the iteration is happening. Audio, it is clear now? Audio, it is clear now? Okay.
It's clear, sir.
Fine. You want to repeat once again this?
No, sir.
Fine. See, once I'm taken the for loop, I is an iteration, number of iteration it is taken. It is start from the 0 until the condition I supposed to give it as n. The condition it is taken as n minus 1. Okay. So in the C or C++, we written for something initialization, condition, increment or decrement within the floor bracket. So within the floor bracket, whatever you written the code, that is under your for loop. The same way here, whatever in the box that is in your for loop, whatever you return that code, it is under your for loop. Okay, we'll come to the simple example, then you can understand that how it will be works. But in the initially, I want to see that how that I has varying until your n minus 1. So for that, I given n as taken as 10. It means that iteration has taken from 0 to n minus 1 in the means that I should be start from 0 to 9. I want to see that. So I'll take this indicator. I connected to your I. Okay, let me run this because it's a loop 1. So I need to go with only single shot run. Go with this. So I can see that it terminated your loop at when your n become 9. I want to see step by step. So I want to create some delay within the loop. So go with the timings. Okay. So each iteration wait for some of the milliseconds. Give some constant to this. So I given some 1000 millisecond. So each iteration taken of some amount of delay. This is the delay I given. Okay, let me run how probably it will works. Let me go with the single shot run. See now iteration start with 0, 1, 2, 3. It is taken each one iteration taken as 1000 milliseconds. That is 1 second here. Okay, whenever whatever your I variable become n minus 1, your loop has terminated. Is it clear? So I am repeating once again. I variable start from 0. It taken the iteration I plus 1 until the condition satisfied your n minus 1. Whenever n minus 1 it is 0. Sorry, n minus 1 becomes your I. then loop will be terminated. Okay, by using this for loop, how we'll implement simple program. Let me see how we understand with that. Okay, see, I want to calculate a factorial of n number. How I supposed to do that? I want to calculate a factorial of n or sum of n number. All the one we have done this. Okay, how we supposed to do this? Okay, sum of n number. Normally, what we are going to do is it should be under the loop. Sushmita madam, can you please mute yourself? Okay, I want to find the sum of n number. So how we supposed to do? I taken as one variable s. Okay, and I taken as the same s plus I. This is what I supposed to do. This I should be varies from your n minus 1 times. This is what sum is equal to sum plus I supposed to do. So the same thing I going to do it here. Okay. This is I'm taken as a sum. Fine. So this is your I taken as adding with this. I start from 0 and this is your sum. What is the equation I'm getting here is sum is the previous value with the next element. So what I supposed to do? I fed back this element back to here. For that, we have a feedback node. We have the feedback node, or you can directly connect it to this. So feedback node, in the sense, initially whatever your sum, I made it to 0. Because element I want to be add, so that should be 0 value. 0 plus constant. Take the constant value here. So here, this is the initial value for your feedback node. I just connected to that 0 here. Okay. Initially it is 0. What is 0? What is the value you are given to a feedback? So this is the value you given to this feedback. So initially sum it is taken as 0, and then this value it is fed back to that I. Now that equation is equal to sum is equal to sum plus whatever the sum plus I. Okay, we'll see that. This is the somebody. ನಿಮಿಷ ಬನ್ನಿ ದರ್ಶನಿಗೆ. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Now it is clear. Okay, I want to be add with n numbers. So I taken as n is equal to 10. This is what I need to be add by one with the amount of delay. Let me run this. First it is 0, 0 plus 1, 1 plus 2, plus 3, like that until you are n minus 1. It is going to be adding. So here consecutive ninth element to be added together, but that is what you are getting a sum. Clear? Srinivas, can you please stop? Can you mute yourself? You are using the headphones, please switch off your or mute yourself. Some people they are using that headphones. Please mute yourself. Srinivas sir, can you mute yourself? Yes, sir, I muted everyone, but whoever are using the headphones, there may be a problem. Okay, fine. So now let me take the values of input 5. Let me run this. So you can see that one by one, 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, like that it is added. Okay. So this is n number of addition. Now I want to make the same thing to be finding the factorial, n factorial. How do you modify this program? Fine. So now what is that factorial function is? As we know that n is equal to whatever it is, 1 into 2 into 3 into until your n, you need to multiply this. So this is what we need to implement in LabVIEW. It's very simple. Let me check with that. Okay. So the same program I'm modifying here. So here just multiplying the value of I. As we know that I is always start from 0, but 0 is multiplying any number I'm getting as 0. That's what I'm going to do is I incrementing that I value, because I don't want to start with 0. I started with the element from 1. So 0 andre I am getting as 1 here. Okay. I'm multiplying with 1. The next one, the next element I need to be multiplied with. That is what I'm getting as a fact. So here again I use the feedback node. Create the constant to what's supposed to give the constant for here? It should not be a 0, it should be a 1, because whatever you're going to multiply it by, not 0 into 0, you multiply it by 1. You always start from the 1. Okay. That's what I'm initializing all the value. This is iteration start from 1 and you need to multiply it by, this is the 1. Okay. First it is multiplied by 1 into 1. It is stored in the fact. Next element I'm getting as here 2. 2 into this previous element. This is the one I need to multiply. So this is a simple way to be implementing your factorial. Okay, let me run the same program. See, 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So 5 factorial I'm getting as 120. Right? So while doing in text programming compared to whatever we are done in LabVIEW, it is very simple once you know all the concepts. Right? So this is simple implementation in for loop. Same way, whatever the program by using the for loop we can implement. We can take only the odd numbers, we can take only the even numbers, or you can take in between the numbers, you can add all the numbers. Okay. So likewise, we can use the for loop. So also we'll come to the array, we can utilize the for loop, and next we'll go with while loop. So what is the difference in for loop and while loop? We can see that. So one more important concept in LabVIEW is shift registers. Those register we can use a previous elements. Previous data I can store the element. Okay. So then it will be very easy to be understand. So tomorrow's session will going to be continue with the structures, that is while loop, along with some of the case structure, event structure, and the feedback node. So then tomorrow will be more interesting compared to other sessions, because we are getting into a main role in LabVIEW. Okay. So dear participants, with respect to all the sessions, the material will forward it to you in your mail ID along with your certificate at the end of the day. Okay. Today we'll wind up the sessions. Any doubts or any discussion, please ping, or you can talk anything else. Any discussion or any doubts, please we'll discuss. Yes, for loop is always n-1. So if you want directly the n means, so what I made it as +1, now it is taken as n values. Thank you very much. Hopes you people are get understanding. Better you practice. Yes, all the mathematical model we can implement in LabVIEW. We have enormous mathematical functions, all trigonometric functions, all one we having. I'll showing you all the mathematical functions. What are the mathematical functions are available in LabVIEW? So you can see linear algebra or integration, differentiation, and differential expressions, and then we have the interpolation, extrapolations. We have the optimization, okay, and we have the sum of your fittings, and we have the some of the probability and statistics. In mathematics, we have all the functions, but you should know that how do you utilize it and where you're supposed to use this, okay. Normally, if you have the image processing, you want to implement any model, mathematical model, we can use the functions here. So we have the histograms. You are finding that differentiations, medians, all we can do in the LabVIEW. Yes, we can do image manipulations. Even our so many students that done the projects on image processing using LabVIEW. we have the even separate model toolkit is there. Separate toolkit is there for image processing. So with that, we can do that. Yes, we can. We have the image manipulation also. Some students they're done with the background subtraction, detecting the movement detections in LabVIEW. They're done.
Sir, Ravikumar sir, this is Shashidhar.
Tell me,
Sir,
Shashi.
actually, I'm working on MacBook Pro. So I
Yes,
want
sir.
software which is related to MacBook Pro, sir. If I can share my version of OS, iOS X10 9.5, my version is 9.5, sir, actually. 10 point, iOS X 10.9, the version is that. So can you
Okay.
help me in that regard?
You have the iMac, no, sir?
MacBook Pro, sir. MacBook Pro with iOS 10.9 version.
Right, sir. Please share your details, sir, with respect to that Mac Pro. We'll discuss regarding that, sir. Because in LabVIEW we have the iMac now advanced one we have actually. So let me know that what may be that contents and all. Definitely we'll discuss, sir. For image processing, definitely the LabVIEW we have enormous functions. Regarding antenna and radars, as in the first day, Vishweshwaran has said, now it is working on the 5G. You think on that, how probably they're implementing. Okay, especially in communication and measurement toolkits, especially LabVIEW is meant for measurement. For image processing, we have the iMac vision and mission toolkit we have. So you can work on that. You will definitely will go with the next iMac.
Hello.
Yes, madam.
So, can you please send us the recordings or PPT if possible? Because of the network errors, we couldn't, follow it properly. Like every minute things we missed a little.
Definitely will share you all the details. Yes, for wireless communication, for example, for student version, we have the MyRio. In MyRio, it inbuilt wireless model is there. So we can do a simple projects on wireless communications.
Sir, for Internet of Things, can we do LabVIEW, sir? Hello.
So this is my WhatsApp number. Pardon, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, tell me, please, sir.
Sir, can we use LabVIEW for Internet of Things project, sir?
Definitely, we have lot of things to do in IoT. One, we have that what you people are doing MIT toolkit, right? To implement your app applications. So in LabVIEW, we have separate dashboard to implementing your own app. So that will be supports to for any IoT purpose. We have the dashboard in LabVIEW. So then that will be helpful to create your own page to interact your sensors.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. For robotics, especially in LabVIEW, we have so many automations, sir. In first day, I think you saw the video. It was wonderful way of robotics we can do. If you are attended any NI programs, so many projects normally with respect to robotics. All the students are very much interested doing on robotics. Especially LabVIEW gives a very good accuracy so that whatever you are using for the robotics, no, you have n number of data acquisition cards with respect to robotics. We can use it. VLSI, definitely we have the, as I said, that all the DAC acquisition card has a processor. All are the, we can work on VLSI only, maximum things. Definitely we can implement computational techniques.
Sir, you were saying about antennas and radars, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Pardon, sir?
Sir, you were talking about
Antenna.
antennas and radars.
Yes, sir. Sir, tell me, sir. Please tell me, sir.
Sir, you were talking about antennas and radars, no, sir. How can we use
Yes,
them
sir.
in LabVIEW, sir?
Sir, for particularly we have enormous functions, enormous separate module toolkits are there for antenna and radars. We have the spectrum analyzers for analyzing your signals, okay, and we have the separate models, especially for wireless communications. We can implement, sir. Especially so much research is going on, especially for wireless communication. Nowadays, all the researchers normally going on wireless communication. So with that, they are using LabVIEW toolkits.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
If you want any particular model or if you want any application, you want any kind of help with respect to that, please text me. Definitely, I'll help you out regarding what way you can implement on LabVIEW.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, actually, I'm going to work on automatic drone painter, sir. So I want to prepare a robotic arm for that. So how can we use this NI LabVIEW for that?
Okay. You are probably are using one Wi-Fi model right there
Yes, sir.
for the robotic arm, right?
Yeah.
Or you want to control it with the Wi-Fi or directly with the manually you want to control with that?
No, sir. Wi-Fi.
Okay. See, I think you are a student, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm a second year
Fine.
student.
Right. See, we in NI we have the student version MyRios.
Okay, sir.
There in MyRio we have the FPGA board inside that.
Okay.
Okay. So easily we can program. That is especially MyRio. It is meant for robotics,
Okay, sir.
right? So I want to know that particularly what the way you are going to be implementing in your robotic arm, what purpose you are using it in such a way that we can program it, right? So you go through that MyRio applications, you definitely get that one of the application using MyRio that will be helpful to you in your application.
Okay, sir. Can you please type that version in chat box, sir?
Pardon?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.